Hey everybody, and welcome to the 1-in-1 podcast with DaL and TY. And if you're wondering what this podcast is, it's basically just a podcast talking about sports in general. This episode, NFL free agency, NBA, college basketball. But for future episodes, we'll bring in other sports, NHL, MLB, just all the sports.
And with that being said, let's get into our first topic, which is Antonio Brown being traded to the Raiders. I think that's a really big thing that happened in the NFL.
Do you think it's good for the Raiders? Good for the Steelers? Who won that trade?
In my opinion,
first off, just to specify, Steelers got a third and a fifth rounder for this draft coming up this April in exchange for Antonio Brown.
The probably top 3 NFL in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 for the past, I don't know how long, but he's been a great wide receiver for the Steelers. But I don't think the Steelers won this trade. But I don't know. It's hard to say that the Raiders won also.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The Raiders are getting a great, talented wide receiver in Antonio Brown. At the same time, you're getting one of the biggest egos in professional sports in general. I can't really think of somebody like him who's called out previous coaches in Bruce Arians, called out his quarterback. To me, it's not a huge win, but it's also a great talent to get on your. If things start going south quickly for the Raiders, as I don't see them winning a whole lot of games to begin the season.
No.
Things are going to go south. Antonio Brown's going to get mad again. And I don't see how the Raiders won this trade. And I understand that may sound crazy, but the Steelers get a huge thing in Big Ben being happy, probably. Big Ben wants to be the leader of that team. And now he doesn't have anybody saying he's not. Le'Veon's gone. Antonio Brown's gone. Big Ben is the leader of that team.
It's not like they don't have a bad replacement in Juju. Juju is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. And yeah, I think him being by himself is going to hurt him in the beginning of the season, but I think after that he's going to figure out what he needs to do to become great.
That's another big thing. They have the potential to get a good receiver in N'Keal Harry, DK Metcalf, any of the top receivers in this draft.
Yeah.
You could go out and get one of those guys to complement Juju, and all of a sudden it looks good for the Steelers.
Yeah. Because don't they have 2 first rounds now?
I don't think so. I think they still only have 1.
Okay.
Because they only got a third and a fifth from trade.
Oh, yeah.
Unless they got a 1 from somewhere else that I don't know.
No.
But yeah.
I just don't think a third and a fifth is worth it for...
I don't think, in terms of talent-wise, I don't think it's worth it.
No.
But if we're talking about off-the-field issues, there was a lot of big egos in that Steelers locker room last
year.
Yeah. And they clearly clashed. They didn't get along. So the idea is you could get rid of Big Ben, which would probably bring Le'Veon and Antonio Brown back.
Yeah.
And I'm not against that at all. But the cheaper move is keeping Big Ben, who's proven he can win a Super Bowl with this Steelers team.
Yeah.
Without Antonio Brown, without Le'Veon Bell. And then bringing in other pieces to help Big Ben win a Super Bowl.
I think the biggest problem about the Steelers is their coaching. With Mike Tomlin being the head coach, I think him and Big Ben's relationship is too strong for him to kick Big Ben off.
Yeah, and that's the way they went. That's the way they went in kicking Le'Veon, kicking Antonio Brown off the team. Yeah. I don't think Mike Tomlin is a bad coach, but I think Mike Tomlin is a bad person to manage egos. He needs somebody else in there to be a good leader of men, which I hate that word because whenever somebody is called a leader of men, they don't know what they're doing in terms of football.
Yeah.
But they do know how to manage egos. But with that, we could just go right on ahead and talking about Le'Veon, where he ended up with the New York Jets signing a $52.5 million contract for 4 years. What do you think about that? Is it good where you ended up?
I think it's great for the Jets, because the Steelers were supposed to give him 60+ mil, from what I heard. And I think with the Jets, they have Sam Darnold. They have a great running back in Le'Veon, if he still is his Pro Bowl self, which hopefully he is. And he's not overweight. I've heard those speculations. So if he's his old self, I think he'll be very good and a great position.
Now,
yeah,
it's a great look for the Jets. It's a great deal for the Jets. They're getting a great running back.
Yeah.
Who didn't play last year. So we don't know. The reason this speculation is coming out, like you mentioned, he's overweight, he's whatever the new speculation is because we haven't seen this guy in a year.
Yeah.
It's been a year is a long time to not play NFL football. If you're coming back after a year, he's going to have some rust that he has to kick off in training camp, in preseason, in regular season.
Yeah, I agree.
Which also could lead to an injury. With not playing in so long, maybe he does have rust, and maybe he just moves the wrong way with not having that practice, that maybe he wasn't exercising all year, keeping his body in shape all year. Maybe he gets an injury early on. But that's all speculation. That's just what happens when you don't play for a year. Sit out a year. But going on...
It could be terrific for the Jets.
Yeah. Going on to what is in it for the Jets, this is a no-brainer for the Jets. Yeah. With a team that looked awful last year, even you now have a young core of a team that looks nice in Le'Veon and Sam Darnold. You're going to have to bring in some wide receivers. The defense isn't that great, but bringing in Le'Veon gives you a potential to win more games.
Yeah.
Just with Le'Veon on the field.
And they also got C.J. Mosley to help out their defense.
They did. I didn't remember that.
Yeah. He was probably one of the best defensive players going into the free agency this year. So
yeah, you could argue he was the best player in free agency.
Yeah.
You could argue the Jets got the two best players in free agency, Le'Veon and C.J. Mosley.
Yeah.
So they're clearly trying to get better.
This was a great offseason for them.
Yeah, they're willing to spend the money to get better. They don't want to just go through the draft and get better.
Yeah.
So more news in the NFL with this one, which is John Elway talking about his new quarterback in Joe Flacco, saying he is just entering his prime. Do you buy that, Ty? Is John Elway?
They need to get rid of John Elway. They need to get rid of John Elway right now. Like, he's not smart. Thinking he's trying to do exactly what he did with Peyton Manning, and trying to get an old quarterback and turn him into a Super Bowl champion. But John Elway is not that type of quarterback. Peyton Manning at least had a great resume. Joe Flacco did win a Super Bowl, but that's because of his defense.
Now, the one thing I will say is I don't like this move, because I think it's way better to risk it in the draft for extra years down the line. But Joe Flacco isn't a bad quarterback.
No.
He may not be an elite quarterback, but he's certainly better than Case Keenum. It is an upgrade.
Anything's better than Case Keenum.
It's an upgrade. But if they go into this draft, which I doubt they draft a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
If they don't draft a quarterback, it's got to start weighing on you that, like, what is the long-term solution for the Broncos? Joe Flacco may be able to bring a playoff push to a team. We didn't see that last year. It was Lamar Jackson who had to do that for the Ravens last year.
Yeah.
But with the talent that's around him in Denver, it's good enough with Lindsey, with Emmanuel Sanders, with Von Miller, that whole defense. It's good enough to make a playoff push. this gets you in that running, in the wild card race. I doubt they have a fight against Kansas City. I doubt they have a chance in that.
Yeah, they do not win their division, in my opinion.
It puts them right in there for that second wild card spot because San Diego's probably already got that first wild card spot locked down. That team's an excellent team.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're a Broncos fan, it should excite you because it gives you hope. It at least gives you hope. But I think John Elway is going a little crazy. He's not willing. He's shown he's not willing to draft a quarterback. And going after Case Keenum, going after Peyton Manning, going after Joe Flacco now. He doesn't want a new quarterback.
No.
I agree with you that it's time for him to go in Denver. The problem is everyone in Denver loves him because of what he did so many years ago, winning those Super Bowls. Denver fans will never hate John Elway.
No. He's a great quarterback, don't get me wrong.
He's a horrible GM.
Yeah, anything else he's not too good at.
Yeah, even if you look at the draft classes from everything besides last year. Last year, I'll give you, they had a good draft.
Yeah.
Every other year, horrible draft. And that falls on the GM.
Mm-hmm.
And now everybody wants to say, oh, he's a great GM because he drafted Philip, or didn't even draft Philip Lindsay. Got Philip Lindsay in as an undrafted free agent. So it's still really not looking good for him. But those small moves that make him look okay will keep him in Denver for a long time.
And that's not good.
No, it's horrible for Denver.
But I don't understand where you're coming from when you say Denver has something to look forward to, because their team is so old. It's not good. Like, Phillip's young. Vaughn is getting old. I don't think it's looking good for them.
See, that's the thing. Maybe not for the long term, but if you're a fan and you want to see next year, you want to say, hey, we have a chance to go somewhere next year. Now you do. Now it gives you that opportunity to it gives you the opportunity to watch playoff football potentially. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs. Joe Flacco would have to probably go back to that year that he made the Super Bowl and regain some of that form in order for them to make the playoffs. But it gives them a chance.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I don't think Joe Flacco is bad, but I don't think he's good. He's just there.
Yeah. Yeah, but speaking of quarterbacks, Dwayne Haskins had his pro day today.
Yeah.
And he looked pretty nice. From what I could see, he had some good throws, but it's a pro day.
He's scheduled to work out for the Raiders, Dolphins, and the Redskins.
Okay.
So, out of those teams, what do you think?
You said Raiders, Dolphins, and Redskins?
Yeah.
Redskins need a quarterback. They traded for Case Keenum. They still need a quarterback.
It depends when Alex Smith comes back. Because
I've heard that surgery went horrible. I've heard he's not coming back this year.
Yeah, I heard that too. But it depends if he comes back the next year, how good he'll be. And if that's injury's going to play a toll on him. Yeah, and then you said the Dolphins. And that's a really interesting one. Yeah. The Dolphins, with just getting rid of Tannehill to the Titans, it frees open a quarterback spot, which I actually love. Hated the idea of Ryan Tannehill being a starting quarterback. He hasn't proven himself as a good starting quarterback that deserves to be a starting quarterback in general. No. So that would be interesting, seeing if they're willing to move up in the draft above the Giants. Yeah. Because I assume the Giants are taking a look at him at the very least, and that's ideally where you want to jump forward in front of him, in front of the Giants to get him. Yeah, I think the Giants are definitely the front runners for him. But the Raiders are super interesting with their car, having John Gruden there. I don't think
I think these teams are looking at him. The teams that are legitimately talking to him are thinking, especially the Raiders, are thinking maybe second round. Second round, we can go out and get him.
I don't think he'll be their second round though.
Yeah, I feel like if he falls 13 to the Giant or to the Dolphins will take him for sure.
Yeah. But don't forget, the Dolphins just picked up Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's true. I completely forgot about that, which I actually love. Yeah. Love Ryan Fitzpatrick as a quarterback. He puts up stats. He gives you yards. You just need talent around him, and he will make a playoff run, or at the very least, he will make your team exciting to watch.
Look at the beginning of the last season. He went off.
He was one of the best quarterbacks statistic-wise for the first 5-6 weeks before he got benched again. Which that whole situation was handled awfully.
It's so weird. He's so weird. Like he does great and then bad.
I just think that situation was handled horribly. I think if you give Ryan Fitzpatrick a full season, he'll make the playoffs. Yeah. At this point, he will.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the Giants. Yeah, the Giants or the Dolphins are.
The Giants at 17 intrigues. If the Dolphins don't end up getting him, if he falls 17 to the Giants, I think they should take him there.
Yeah.
I absolutely don't think the Giants take him at 6. No. I think it would be an awful decision.
That'd be so dumb. The defensive ends and everything else is defensively so stacked in this draft. It's insane.
Yeah. But speaking of that, any top 3 quarterbacks in this draft, arguably Kyler Murray,
Drew Lock.
Dwayne Haskins, and Drew Lock.
Yeah.
That's arguable. Some people have Daniel Jones in there. But of those, would you go that way with the top 3 quarterbacks? Would you put it Murray, then Haskins, then Lock?
Yeah.
How would you have those? You would have those exactly like that?
Yeah.
What do you think? I would probably put Haskins above Murray in any system besides a Cliff Kingsbury type of system, a college type of system that team's going to run. I think Haskins is a much better just original quarterback. Yeah. Kyler Murray would be fantastic in a college system, which is why I think people have him going number 1 to the Cardinals with Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. Which I think he will, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it. But that's the one thing that scares me. If you go number 1 to the Cardinals have 2 awful years, Kingsbury's gone, and you probably traded Rosen by that point.
Yeah.
You don't have a quarterback because I don't believe Kyler Murray can work in a normal NFL-style system. He's a short quarterback who Russell Wilson has torn that reputation away. Drew Brees has torn that reputation. There are short quarterbacks who've worked, but there's a reason we only know a couple. There's a reason not every quarterback in the NFL is a short quarterback. Yeah. There's a reason why the Big Bens are out there. Mitchell Trubisky, Brock Osweiler, who did horrible, but still he was drafted because of his height. Like, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So I don't think Kyler Murray is the best quarterback in this draft.
I think he
just because of that solid reason, as he can't. Maybe he's the most talented. Maybe I still doubt that. But I also am somebody that doesn't like the quarterbacks that can scramble and do all those things, which at his pro day he tried to prove he could be a normal pocket passer by almost never stepping outside the pocket when he was doing his drills and throwing the ball. But still, I just don't see it. Yeah, he did good, but once again, it's a pro day. There aren't linemen in front of him. No. There's nobody rushing the passer. It's hard to provide an NFL-style experience in a pro day.
Yeah, I agree.
But are there any other quarterbacks you see in the draft that you maybe want to talk about, look at? Any specific quarterbacks in mind?
Besides Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, and Drew Lock. Those are the big 3 that everyone's talking about. But
yeah,
I don't think so.
no. If okay, for everybody that doesn't know, Ty is a Titans fan. If the Titans were to draft a quarterback in their position, you had the choice of those three. Who would you want to take? Do you see any of them as a potential successor to Mariota or better than Mariota?
I think Kyler Murray, for the fact that they're very similar.
Okay.
Because they're two-dimensional. Dwayne Haskins, he, like you said, he's got an amazing arm, and he can be old-fashioned in the fact that he's can't get out of the pocket. But I think probably Kyler Murray, but I already know that he won't drop.
Yeah.
Well,
there is actually talk that if the Cardinals don't take him, that he falls to the second round.
That would be insane.
Potential there. Teams don't like him outside of that college system. That college system is what makes him so intriguing to Kingsbury and the Cardinals.
Wow. See, that's why we drafted Marcus. Is the same thing with Kyler.
Did you guys have Chip Kelly at the time?
No, we never had Chip Kelly.
Oh, okay.
We had Mike Malarkey, I want to say.
Okay.
I think we did.
Yeah, and I mean, it worked out for you guys when you had Malarkey. Malarkey knew how to put him in good situations.
And then we destroyed his career, but it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah. But continuing on, there was another huge trade in Odell getting traded from the Giants to the Browns, which the full trade was Odell for a first, a third, and Jabril Peppers. Who won that trade, Ty? Who won it?
The Browns, obviously.
I don't think it's that obvious. You give your reason, and then I'll just debunk all of your reasons. All right.
Odell is a top 3 wide receiver. Would you agree?
Nah. Sure.
What?
Sure. For the sake of argument, sure.
Okay.
Let's say he's the top 3 wide receiver.
Odell's a top 3 wide receiver. They gave up a first and a third for him, right? And Jabril.
First, third, and Jabril. Yep.
See, I don't see Jabril being the Pro Bowl-esque safety that you do.
Okay.
But I don't think a first and a third is that crazily insane for Odell Beckham Jr. And to be with a young wide receiver, or not young, but Jarvis Landry, his college friend.
Yep.
And just an amazing offense with Baker and...
The idea that you put amazing behind it when it's led by Baker Mayfield.
What's wrong with Baker Mayfield?
He's had 1 year and he wasn't particularly good.
I said amazing offense, not amazing Baker Mayfield.
Fair.
But why do you think...
Okay. The Giants are an awful team. I think everybody can agree with that. They're an awful team.
Yeah.
The only piece around them that anybody can get excited about is Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
So, if you have Odell, Saquon Barkley, Eli, those are the 3 faces of the franchise now that Collins is gone and all
Olivier
that defense Vernon, Damon Harris. Mm-hmm. That defense shattered apart.
Yeah.
But it shows you they're an awful team. So why keep OBJ and Saquon with a horrible line and a mediocre quarterback? I say mediocre for your sake. I think he's a Joe Flacco-esque quarterback.
That's not good.
it's okay. It's an average quarterback in the league. It's good enough to start.
Okay.
But an awful O-line, awful D-line, awful defense entirely.
Yeah.
Before free agency opened. Now they have 2 first-round picks, 2 high first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a safety. Like you said, I believe he's a Pro Bowl type safety, a young safety too. This team is going to be a young team. It won't be good this year. I'm not going to lie to you, tell you they're going to go 10-6 this year. They could. I see what Gettleman's trying to do in keeping Eli and trying to give them a position to win right now while they rebuild. But that's exactly what this is. If you would have kept OBJ, this is still a rebuild. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
They won't win with OBJ. They've proven they can't win with OBJ in the past 2. It's just not possible. And OBJ has consistently seemed to be toxic in that locker room. He doesn't like the teammates he's around, maybe. Doesn't like the coaching. I don't know. He just doesn't like that locker room. It seemed like it was destined to happen. An OBJ trade was destined to happen.
Yeah.
So, getting a first rounder, a third rounder, and Jabril Peppers, you want to get the most value out of what you're getting for OBJ. Because he's a great player. He's unequivocally a great player.
Yeah.
But is he worth not having a first, a third, and Jabril Peppers to try to rebuild your franchise when, let's just say, with those 2 picks, you get Jawan Taylor and then Byron Murphy. Jawan Taylor, an offensive tackle, probably the best offensive lineman in the draft. Mm-hmm. And then Byron Murphy, arguably the best corner in the draft.
Yeah.
Then you have
what picks
slowly have gotten 6 and I want to say 17.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 and 17. So 6 you'd go with Jawan Taylor, and then 17 Byron Murphy.
Okay.
Because in every mock draft I've seen, Byron Murphy fallen farther than I think he should ever fall. But hey,
I could see the Broncos drafting him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that. But still, back to the original point.
Yeah.
You're slowly building a good team, a good young team too. OBJ isn't that young, but he isn't that old, admittedly. But still, you're building up this super young team. Jabril Peppers young, Saquon Barkley young, Eli Manning obviously old. But my focus is you don't draft a quarterback this year. Wait till next year, then draft one there. If you somehow get to a 9-7 record next year, trade up as high as you can in that draft to go for whatever quarterback is your favorite. Whoever you feel is the best quarterback in the draft, trade up to get him because you need a quarterback in this league to perform.
Yeah, to be successful.
Yeah. So, as long as you just make it look like you're still trying to win, because everybody hates the word rebuild. Fan bases go crazy about rebuilding. You make it look like you're still trying to win with having Eli, with having Saquon, and going after these good players. Jawan Taylor's not going to be a sexy pick at all, but Byron Murphy will be. People will be excited about having Byron Murphy back there with Jabril Peppers, maybe shutting down opponents' offense. If Byron Murphy develops well, they could. And then maybe this offensive tackle is a great offensive tackle. Even if he's not, he's probably going to be better than whatever you have there right now. So you put these pieces in, develop them, and you're not going to win this year, but next year, make a playoff push. 2 years from now, make a playoff push with a good quarterback, good running back. Draft somebody like, if N'Keal Harry falls to the second round, draft him in the second round easily. But just get a wide receiver to put around that talented team.
And it's hard for me to think with a running back, a young running back, and a young safety, and 2 question marks, that they will be able to make a 9-7 record, like you said, this year.
I wasn't saying that's gonna be their record this year. I'm saying that's worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is you go 9-7, 8-8, and miss the playoffs, because then you're in a position where you have to trade up to get the quarterback you want.
Okay, yeah.
The idea is this year, you push it out like you're trying to win games while probably not going to be able to win games. Therefore, you have a top 5 pick next year. You could go after your favorite quarterback in next year's draft.
Yeah. I think it's I see your point, and I understand where you're coming from. It's just hard for me to think that the Giants won this trade. But yeah, I like how they're getting more pieces than just a Pro Bowl type wide receiver. I like what they're trying to do. But
yeah, it's going to be impossible for anybody to say they won this trade for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Because you won't see, unless those two pieces become great and Jabril Peppers is a Pro Bowler, like I say he's going to be.
Yeah.
If that happens, then I think you guys could easily tell in 1 year, 2 years. But 3 years from now, the Giants will be back. If they keep Gettleman as a GM, keep Pat Shurmur, keep James Bettcher, they'll be back in the top of the NFL. Not at the top of the NFL, in the mix for the top of the NFL. For playoffs, for conference championships. But you have to get the right pieces. You have to make the right draft picks. It's a whole system that has to work out perfect.
Yeah. I think they could do it. I could see them doing it.
But do you buy the Browns being the favorite of that division?
Easily.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Without seeing them play one snap, the whole world is arguing they are the favorite to win that division.
Yes. Yeah. I think with their offensive talent on what they have right now, I think that they can easily win that division.
Okay. First off, you need a defense to win at football.
Okay.
Secondly, we don't know. Baker wasn't a great quarterback. People like to say Baker was great. Baker was the best rookie quarterback. Maybe he was the best rookie quarterback, but he still wasn't better than Eli Manning last year. Eli Manning was better than him last year.
I think he was second in offensive rookie of the year last year. I think if Saquon didn't come out this year, that he would have won rookie of the year.
I think Philip Lindsay would have beat him out too. I think Philip Lindsay or Saquon would have been rookie of the year instead of Baker.
Yeah, I could see that.
But still, the idea that being the best rookie makes you a great quarterback isn't true. That's blatantly... You could be the best rookie and still be an average quarterback, but you put up some good numbers, you had the right opponents.
So let's say Patrick Mahomes, this was his not actual rookie year, but it was his his first fully played season. So let's say he was rookie.
Yeah.
So based off this, you're saying he's gonna...
No. I'm saying rookie of the year isn't always a great player. It's the best rookie. Because you narrow it down to having to be a rookie to win that award, doesn't mean they're going to be a great player. They might be a great player like Saquon was, putting up huge numbers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not always like that. And also, this isn't the NBA. You can't just grab the best players and think they're all going to be all sunshines and rainbows and it's going to be great for them. There is chemistry in football. You have to learn the system. You have to know how things work. There are way different systems in the NFL. A lot of different plays, different coaches.
Yeah.
There's a lot of off-the-field aspect in terms of the NFL and how great teams are made.
Yeah. So, who do you have as a favorite then?
I think it could be the Ravens, Steelers. I don't see a clear favorite there, but I definitely don't think the Browns should be far and away the favorite like I've seen on a lot of places, them being huge favorites to win that division.
So what do the Steelers have better than the Browns?
Pedigree, defense, coaching, better quarterbacks. Yeah. Better O-line.
Why do you think defense?
I think in general, I think the coaching is better, which makes the defense better, and I haven't seen anything from the Browns defense that makes me think, oh, they're great.
Yeah.
They had an average season last year. I can't put them above anything. When the Steelers have had great seasons and all of a sudden have one average season, I can't say the Steelers are going to consistently have average seasons.
Yeah.
There's a thing about having a winning culture. A winning culture is huge. If you don't have that winning culture, you need to find somebody who has a winning culture, like Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Those guys have winning cultures. There's a reason you plug in random people and it works. They know how to develop these players. They know how to win.
Yeah.
The Browns have continuously proven they don't know how to win. Until they prove me otherwise, I will say they don't know how to win.
Look at the tail end of last season, though. I think that
it was good.
Yeah.
Good,
and adding on some good players onto that good season, I think that they'll have a really good season next year.
I don't know if I could say that. Because look at the teams they beat last. Look at Falcons didn't make the playoffs. Bengals didn't make the playoffs. Broncos didn't make the playoffs. Bengals didn't make the playoffs. Lost to the Ravens, made the playoffs. Lost to the Texans, made the playoffs. They're beating teams that they should beat, but they're losing to teams that they should lose to.
I'm not saying they're a great team. I'm saying that they had a good end of the season, which will carry on to this season.
Everybody has... So many teams have good end of the seasons, but it just does nothing for them. Like, teams that go to the playoffs, they're always typically good late in the season, late December. Like, they have good years like that, and then next year, nothing happened.
Yeah.
I hope that winning culture stays with them, and the Browns aren't bottom of the barrel now, and they actually put up numbers. It's going to be hard. I need to see it first.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
But
I think they are the favorite, though.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to watch.
Oh, 100%.
But let's switch sports here and go on to basketball.
Okay.
That all good with you?
Yeah.
Let's So there's clearly maybe the hottest team in basketball right now in the Spurs, winning 9 straight. Would you say the Spurs are the hottest team in basketball after winning 9 straight?
I don't think they're the hottest team right now in basketball. No. I think that they're doing great because they're winning 9 straight, but I still see the Bucks as the top hottest team in the NBA.
Why? What makes you say that? What makes you put them above everybody else's hottest team?
I'm pretty sure they were the first team to clinch the playoffs. And
also in a weaker division, though. Weaker conference.
They're in a better conference.
The East is better than the West.
Yeah.
That's insane. You are insane.
The Raptors have more wins than any other team in the West.
But that conference is awful, so they get more wins.
I don't think it's awful. Okay. I'll say the West is better, but I wouldn't say it's awful.
Okay, thank you. As long as the West is better because you have Curry and the Warriors, the Nuggets with Jokic, Rockets with Harden, Spurs, Greg Popovich led team. It's just there's so many great pieces. Oklahoma, I didn't even name Oklahoma City Thunder with Westbrook and George.
Yeah.
It's just I don't see that many teams in the East being as good as the West.
I just think the Bucks team is better overall than the Spurs.
I would say the Bucks have more talent, but I would say the Spurs have better coaching, and I think in basketball, coaching can go a long way. Yeah. Obviously, coaches coach, players play. You know, coaches will never get the credit they deserve, but Greg Popovich is the best coach in basket in the NBA.
Yeah, 100%. I think Steve Kerr's a close second, but
I think Steve Kerr has the best players in the world.
Who would you put second then, Mike?
Oh man, Bradley Stevens maybe. Okay. Doc Rivers is a fantastic coach. I would probably put Doc Rivers second. even though the team isn't doing that great. But I think his
you
coaching
put Doc Rivers second?
Probably, yeah. Doc Rivers is a fantastic coach.
Okay, all right. Let's go back to the hottest team in the NBA. So, the Rockets also have a 9-1 in the last 10 games. Same with the Spurs. So, would you put them on the same pedestal?
No, the Spurs have won 9 straight. Let me get that clear. The Spurs won 9 straight games, winning games against teams like the Warriors, the Bucks, the Nuggets, the Thunder.
Okay.
They've beat some of the hottest teams in basketball, some of the best teams in basketball. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I would put them as the hottest team, seeing as right now they seem to be peaking. This is the peak Spurs. This is what you want out of the Spurs right now.
Yeah.
And they look absolutely fantastic. The highest win streak this year is, I want to say it's 12 with the Warriors.
I'm not
so
too
they're
sure.
not that. I'm pretty sure it's 12 with the Warriors. Unless I must have saw something crazy if it's not. But still, they're playing the Heat tonight. It should be a win.
Yeah.
Should. Putting them to 10 wins. If they go in to the playoffs like this, they're going to be a tough team to stop.
Yeah, I agree. So, as of right now, they'd play the Thunder.
Yeah, or no. They'd play the Blazers.
Trailblazers, my bad. Do you think that they would win that series?
100.
Really? Over Dame?
Over Dame easily. Dame's great.
Mm-hmm.
But you got LaMarcus Aldridge and
DeMar?
Yeah, DeMar DeRozan. I think that's DeMar DeRozan is something I think the Spurs have been missing for a long time, is having a great guard. They've had Kawhi playing forward.
They've had great forwards.
Great forwards, great centers, great. They've had great big men.
Yeah.
They haven't had a guard that can really shoot three. Yeah. Speaking of that, they have a 39.8% 3-point percentage this year.
That's insane.
Higher than the Warriors, which is nearly by 5% higher than.
Dang. That's insane.
So they have what it takes to go far in the playoffs. I think it takes 3-point shooting, and it takes a great big man that can defensively be good and that can also score the ball.
Yeah. Well, you could argue Kawhi did that.
You could argue Kawhi did that, but he didn't shoot the three as well as DeMar. I just think DeMar is a better. It spreads the floor out more for the Spurs than it used. It used to be more compact because Kawhi likes to score inside. LaMarcus Aldridge likes to score inside. They didn't really have those 3-point shooters.
No.
Or at least the threat of a three.
Yeah, I agree.
But continuing on with the hottest team, you said the hottest team was either the Bucks or the Rockets in your opinion. You said Bucks, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Do they have the best chance to dethrone the Warriors? If not, who does? Who in the NBA has the best chance to dethrone them?
Just in the NBA, not Eastern?
In the entire NBA.
I think either the Bucks or the Nuggets, I think. Because...
Why? What?
I think the Bucks are just... They can't be stopped right now. With Giannis on his MVP type season, Chris Middleton having an amazing season, same with Eric Bledsoe. I think their whole squad could take down the Warriors. And also with Boogie being for the Warriors, that has been a big downfall for them.
Yeah. Okay. It's really interesting with the Nuggets. I think they have the right pieces to beat the Warriors, but I think they're too young to beat the Warriors.
They don't have enough playoff experience.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a little scared when it comes to playoffs, especially if they play the Warriors in Golden State for that conference final. I don't think they have what it takes. Now, which is going to be extremely unlikely if they don't meet the Warriors in the conference championship. I think the Nuggets would be. I think the conference championship's just going to be too big of a stage for the Nuggets. And so for me personally, I do think it's the Spurs that have the best chance to dethrone the Warriors, which probably sounds insane to just about everybody.
It does.
But looking at it, they had the best chance with Kawhi. They almost did it that year until Kawhi got injured, which actually wasn't that the first game?
Yeah.
It was the first.
It was one of the first few games.
But still, that first game, it was super close all the way throughout, and then they just got blown out the next 3 games and have Kawhi. So Greg Popovich clearly needs a superstar to beat the Warriors. He has that in DeMar DeRozan.
A superstar in DeMar?
Yep.
All right,
maybe not as good as Kawhi. Maybe not as good as Kawhi in general, but DeMar he, like I said before, he spreads out the floor. He makes you have to play better defense.
I understand that, but you can't call him a superstar. There's very few players on that pedestal. And I would not
Would you call Jokic a superstar?
I think he's closer to superstar status than DeMar is.
Insane.
What do you mean that's insane?
That's insane.
So
DeMar's been doing this for years.
He's an all-star. I wouldn't put him on the superstar level, though.
Well, you'll see in the playoffs. Come playoffs, you'll see DeMar. He's going to go off. He's just... And it's not even the idea that he's going to be a superstar. It's he can make other players better.
That's what you're supposed to do as a guard.
Yeah, and that's what I think always has been the problem with the Spurs in the past. They haven't had a guard that can spread out the ball, spread out the court, make a team play defense, make a team push out further to play defense, which you need to beat the Warriors. And then if they start cheating out to try to cover DeMar, you have LaMarcus Aldridge, who can score inside the paint, who is a beast.
Yeah.
So I could see them winning that also for all those reasons. And Greg Popovich is the best coach in the NBA. I think he will come with the best game plan to beat the Warriors. He knows how to game plan to beat the Warriors. They've done it this year, but 22 other teams have, well, maybe not 22 other teams, but the Warriors have lost 22 other games.
Yeah.
22 games in general. So a lot of teams beat them in the regular season, but they step into a new level in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think the Spurs have the best chance in the West for sure. It's arguable in the East with the Bucks. The Bucks are a great team, and I think it'd be super interesting to see Giannis go up against the Warriors. I don't think they have enough talent to beat the Warriors, though, and I don't think Giannis has enough experience to beat the Warriors.
I think the Bucks, Raptors, and 76ers have a very good shot at dethroning the Warriors.
I don't think so. It's super tough. I think Toronto has the right... there are only a couple of teams that have the right style, have the right pieces to beat the Warriors. I think Sixers, Raptors, Nuggets, Spurs, maybe the Rockets have those pieces.
I can see the Rockets.
It's Rockets if Clint Capella is playing really good. If not, I don't know.
And if James Harden goes off for 35 plus.
I think if the Rockets have Paul healthy, Harden healthy, Capella healthy, they beat them. I think all three of them need to be healthy, and all three of them need to play a great game to beat the Warriors.
I agree.
So it's really interesting. It's hard for me to say a team's going to take 4 games off the Warriors this
year. Yeah, the Warriors are
especially if you have to go through Golden State. If you have to go through Golden State to do it, it becomes that much harder. But but talking about the East a little more, do the Bucks end up with that 1 seed?
Oh, 100%. The closest team is the Raptors, then the 76ers at 7.
Yeah.
So if the Bucks lose 3 and the Raptors win 3. But I do not see the Bucks losing many games, especially in this stretch.
Okay, I'll give you a more interesting question. With the Nets sitting at 7 right now, last night D'Angelo Russell had a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Scoring, 27 in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Making a huge comeback.
44?
I think it was in the 50. Or it might have been 44. Might have been 44.
I think so. He had a double-double, I know that.
Yeah. But is there any chance these young Nets can come up and upset one of the top teams in the Celtics, Pacers, Sixers, Raptors, or Bucks? Do you see a way that they could beat? Do you see a way they win the first round matchup they have, no matter who it ends up being?
Right now, they'll be playing the Raptors, right? 7 against 2.
Yeah.
I do not see.
But it also depends if the Pistons
if it moves, yeah.
Goes. So it would ideally it's probably Raptors or Six. One of those.
I don't think they'll win first round. I think they could come close with the Sixers, but I don't think that they would get out of first round.
Yeah, I just don't see enough defense on that team. Like they have what's the guy's name that just seems. Oh, Dinwiddie? No. He's the dude with a giant afro who's been blocking everybody.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like yeah, I gotta figure out his name. Man, it's gonna kill me if I don't remember it. But, Jarrett Allen. Yeah. He's been great at blocking people, but it seems like it's gonna have to be consistently one of those types of games, like it was last night with D'Angelo Russell just going off to win.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening as well, but I think he could make a huge name for himself, and he's already made Brooklyn. They're the best team in New York, maybe the most. Soon, if this continues on and the Knicks are down at the bottom like they have been this year, the Nets might be the most popular team in New York.
Yeah.
Which would be huge for them, huge for free agent signings, huge for ticket sales. In general, it would be giant for the Nets, make them be able to go after a huge free agent. Yeah. So I think he could turn this team around to potentially face off against a team like the Warriors, Bucks, in a year or two from now. But right now, I just don't see it happening.
But like you said, he's gonna have to. D'Angelo Russell's gonna have to go off, and he has to go off if they're playing the Raptors or the 76ers. He's going to have to go for like 50 if they want to even have a shot at winning.
Yeah.
Because like they have small pieces around him, but he's definitely their main big player.
Yeah. But let's take it down to the West now, and maybe the most intriguing thing about the West, the most talked about thing about the West, if the Lakers lose one more game, it will be the first time in 2000. I want to say it's been a decade for sure that LeBron hasn't been to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so too.
Are people making it a bigger deal than it is that LeBron's not going to be in the playoff?
I think people are making it big. I think people are making it a bigger deal than it is. But whenever you have an amazing player like LeBron or 5 years ago with Kobe, then you're always a contender. So it's sad to see that LeBron won't be making playoffs this year like he has for the past decade.
Yeah. I people are putting this on LeBron, like, because of what LeBron fans have said, being that he is better than MJ and everything like that, that whole discussion that's going on right now. I think people are putting this on LeBron a little too much. I think people are blaming LeBron too much for this when he's missed a ton of games. When that whole team has had a ton of injuries around them, I don't think it's LeBron's fault that they've missed the playoff.
No. He's missed like 20 some, I think. 20 some games.
Yeah.
And you can't. It's hard to make playoffs with as many injuries as they had with Lonzo, Kyle, and obviously LeBron.
That's like, I don't think the Cavaliers would have made it last year if they lost LeBron, then lost Kevin Love. For the amount of games that Lonzo and LeBron have missed, like I don't think the Cavaliers would have made it last year to the playoffs.
No.
So you can't put it on LeBron that much, but it's always going to be on his record. Like, you didn't make the playoffs, maybe this certain year, but a ton of, like, MJ did great. He won 6 for 6 in finals.
Yeah.
That means there was a ton of years that he didn't make the playoffs. Like, so you can't put this on him too much. You can't go crazy about him losing this. Is he better than MJ? I don't know. But it just makes it's always a fun talking point to have, talking about LeBron being potentially the best player of all time.
I think he is of this decade, and MJ was of the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. Keeping on with the basketball format, something's big's coming up, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think so.
Just March Madness, you know?
That's the biggest thing in March.
With Zion potentially being better than LeBron,
the greatest college athlete ever.
With that, you know, you got ACC got, I think, 3 1 seeds out of the 4 1 seeds.
Dang.
Which is insane.
That's insane.
Yeah. But what are some... Do you have any games that you're super excited to watch, Time?
Obviously you want to watch Duke. Yeah. You want to get as much Zion time as you can before he goes into the NBA.
But let me toss down a couple of my games that I have. There are a ton of games for me that are going to be fun to watch. First round, you have potentially 2 of the best guards in the tournament going at it in Ja Morant and Marcus Howard for Murray State versus Marquette.
Okay.
That's going to be a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And it's super sad one of those guards is going to have to be knocked out of the tournament first round, but I think whoever wins makes it super far in the tournament.
Yeah.
Then you have a play-in game between ASU and St. John's, but if that goes ASU's way, ASU ends up playing Buffalo, where Bobby Hurley coached before ASU, and most of those players he recruited before coming to ASU, so that'll be a super interesting matchup to watch.
Wow.
And Buffalo's one of the most exciting teams in the tournament right now.
Yeah.
Then you got Louisville versus Minnesota. That one's interesting because Minnesota's head coach is Richard Pitino. And his dad used to coach for Louisville before he got fired for the tampering with players' money.
Yeah,
player funds.
The signing.
Yeah, before giving people money to play, basically.
Yeah.
Another great first-round matchup, Oregon versus Wisconsin. Oregon, I'd argue the hottest team in college football right now. Demolishing the Pac-12 tournament in just on a I want to say 9 or 10 game winning streak right now, headed in. Great defensive team. Super fun to watch that one.
Yeah.
And then another interesting one, depending on how the bracket plays out, if Seton Hall is able to beat Wofford, they then go on to play, odds are, Kentucky, if Kentucky doesn't get massively upset, which would be a rematch of Seton Hall previously beating Kentucky, which would be a giant upset if it happens again.
Dang.
So there's a big chance that number 2 goes down in the first weekend. of March Madness.
Dang, that'd be depressing.
It would be fun to watch.
That would destroy a lot of people's brackets.
It would. It really would. But I don't know if they get past Wofford. Wofford's a good team too.
What are some big upsets you think could happen?
Big upsets? Okay. I've said Murray State and Marquette's going to be a great game. I think Murray State takes that, which would be a 12-5 upset. But even past that, I have Murray State going all the way to the Sweet 16, then losing to Gonzaga. So I think Murray State could be a huge bracket buster there. Could tear up an entire bracket. Along with that, I talked about Oregon, Wisconsin. I think Oregon wins that game and goes on to play Virginia, who I could see Oregon taking out Virginia. But I probably wouldn't pick that because Virginia has the best defense in all of college basketball right now.
Yeah.
And Oregon's big is defense. So I think Virginia would take that. But still, Oregon can bust up a bracket. Another one to be super intrigued about is Yale going up against LSU the first round. Yale's a great 3-point shooting team. But LSU is interesting because they lost their coach. He got suspended without like a certain time he could come back. So they lost their coach, and we don't really know how that's going to affect them. And people like Yale a lot. Yale can shoot the three. That's something you need in
basketball
in March. Yeah, especially in these random matchups between teams. That aren't a 7-game series.
Yeah.
And another one that this is probably my craziest upset that I'm still not sure about, but Syracuse going up against Gonzaga the second round. Jim Boeheim, maybe the greatest college basketball coach of all time. Maybe not. You got John Calipari and Tom Izzo and some other great ones, along with Coach K. Probably is the greatest, but hey, Jim Boeheim should be in that conversation at least. And that zone defense is not seen a lot. That zone defense can get scary to play because you don't see that a whole lot in college basketball, which is also a thing I think you need to beat Duke right now is a zone defense. But that'll be super interesting. Also, something to note with Syracuse, they just lost their guard, Howard, because of a violation of an academic department policy.
Dang.
I don't know what he exactly did, but he won't be playing there.
Their point guard?
I'm not sure if he was the point guard or what, but
that's not good.
Yeah, either way, losing a player not gonna be too great.
Yeah.
He averaged the most assists on their team for a fact, so it's really gonna kind of
affect them.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would have that, but still, that defense is intriguing enough to push into the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
But what about you? Any upset teams for you?
I agreed with you on Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like Oregon is a great team overall right now. Another one, Oklahoma over Ole Miss.
Okay. A little minor upset there with the 8-9 game.
Yeah. I don't have anything that ginormous. Iowa over Cincinnati.
Iowa over Cincinnati, okay.
I don't have anything that big, like I said.
Yeah, you just got like some minor 7-10, 8-9 games.
Also, with that Murray State, I think that Murray State is going to take that one with Ja Morant as their leader. I think that...
You got them getting past Florida State then, or do you just...
No, I think Florida State's going to win.
Fair.
But I think they're going to get out of the first round.
Yeah. But there's a ton of great upset teams to watch though. Like Belmont, just to name a couple more. ASU, I really like getting into the Sweet 16. There are some good teams.
Yeah.
But let's talk about our Final Four there. Let me hear your Final Four. Is Duke going to smash that East region and get into the final?
Easily.
Then who do they meet in the West?
Gonzaga. I think.
Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the other two? South and Midwest.
I got Tennessee and North Carolina.
Okay.
North Carolina is a great team, and Tennessee has been great the past few weeks, but it's hard because Virginia is better, obviously, with their ranking. But I think Tennessee is gonna take them out overall.
Yeah, they're great. The South seems to be filled with great defensive teams in Virginia, Tennessee, Oregon, Purdue. They got great defense in. It's hard to argue against Tennessee, man.
Yeah.
So you got Duke, Gonzaga one side. You said Tennessee,
North Carolina. Yeah. I went pretty basic with the 1 overalls.
Yeah. How do you see those going? Checking
it. Tennessee, North Carolina, or Duke,
both
Gonzaga.
games. Just go through each one.
I got Duke, Gonzaga. Duke over Gonzaga, but
Zion just being too much.
Yeah, I think Zion is too much for this whole March Madness, but it's hard because Gonzaga beat them earlier in the season, like at the very beginning.
Yeah. Only team to beat Duke at full strength was Gonzaga.
Yeah. So I just see Duke pulling that one out, and I see Tennessee beating North Carolina.
Okay, so you got a Tennessee versus Duke matchup.
Mm-hmm. And Duke pulling that one through. 76-74, in my opinion.
74. All right. Well,
what do you think?
So I completely differ on you there with Duke. With Duke, I think they get past the first game.
Okay.
The second game is going to be super interesting when UCF plays Duke because they have, I want to say 7-2 or something like that. Taco Fall.
Yeah.
They have him, and that team can shoot the three. Where Duke lacks is two of the most important categories in all of March Madness: 3-point shooting and free throws. Duke is 30%, is a 30% free or 3-point shooting team and 69% from free throws, which is just horrible. So you foul those guys, and odds are they're gonna, it's gonna be a lot easier to come back into games with little time remaining.
Yeah.
But I still do think they get past UCF. They'll breeze past Virginia Tech. Then they have Michigan State, where I think Michigan State takes it.
Wow.
Michigan State has what it takes to beat them. They're a great 3-point shooting team. They rebound the ball well. They have just about the same, they get 41 rebounds, average 41 rebounds per game, where Duke averages 41.8, and they average more assists per game. So I just see Michigan State as a better all-around team and a better tournament to beat Duke, because this it's built for those upsets. It's built for those 3-point shooting fest. Just going down, shooting three. So that's the new game. That is today's basketball.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
You have to shoot the three to win in today's basketball. Defense isn't required to win. Just that's the sad truth of it.
Yeah.
But I have Michigan State from the East, and West I have Michigan. The two seeds. Gonzaga's a super talented team. I'm going back and forth. I'm probably gonna switch that one to Gonzaga.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna do. I have Michigan versus Gonzaga right there, and then I have Gonzaga winning.
Yeah, I gotta go Gonzaga. They're just such a talented team. Great coaching. They're gonna be a great team. But I have that. I'll have Michigan State, Gonzaga, and then on the other side, the Midwest, I think Kentucky makes it all the way out with John Calipari, one of the best coaches in college basketball in this entire tournament. Then I have Tennessee making it out of the South.
Yeah. Over Virginia.
Over Virginia, I think Tennessee's a better. It's tough. Tennessee has better big men, and I just see it matching out. I think Virginia is a super scary team because I think they're the only 1 seed I'm nervous about playing the first round.
Yeah.
I can see Gardner-Webb beating them, not just because Virginia got beat last year, but because Gardner-Webb's an interesting team. Gardner-Webb averages nearly 80 points a game. You need to average a ton of points to win in this tournament.
Yeah.
And if Virginia's defense falters at all, Gardner-Webb can take it out. And maybe they come in, I doubt it, because of them losing last year, being the first 1 seed to ever lose the first round game. But maybe even then, they still come in thinking it's going to be an easy game. And then basketball is a huge momentum-led game. So one thing leads to another. If you just get the ball rolling in Gardner-Webb's favor, it could be a big upset. But I don't think it is. And I think Tennessee I think Tennessee breezes through that bottom half of the bracket, plays Virginia. I think Tennessee's just a better team in general, and will take out Virginia.
Yeah.
Then we got Michigan State versus Gonzaga, where I think Michigan State is just too good of a team to beat. They have the best record against top 25 teams in the entire tournament. And I mean, unless you want to take only the statistics with Zion in for Duke, then Duke might be better, being as they only lost to 2 teams with Zion on the court.
Yeah.
But I still think injuries are a part of basketball. Zion's going to get injured. They're not going to get injured, but Zion could get injured. RJ Barrett could get injured. Some of these players could have an off night, and that's with March. If you have one off night, you're gone.
Yeah.
So I think Michigan State will end up taking
it to the national championship.
Yep, beating Gonzaga. I think they're too good of an all-around team. Too good at shooting threes. 75% from the free throw line. They're too good of a team to lose to Gonzaga, even though Gonzaga is more talented. Then Kentucky versus Tennessee. Like I said, I think right now offense beats defense. And I think in terms of coaching, I like to look at the Final Four as a matchup of coaching. I would put John Calipari over the Tennessee coach, who I admittedly don't know, but John Calipari always makes it far in tournaments, and I don't see him losing to Tennessee, even with this young team.
Yeah.
And then you got Michigan State, Kentucky in the national championship. I'm taking Michigan State. It's just, like I said before, shooting the free throw percentage. The teams that they've played, to me, Michigan State just looks too good to beat. I think they're flying under people's radars. They only lost to one top 25 team this entire year.
So they've lost to... Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, they in the top 25 ranked teams, they've only lost to one team the entire year.
Okay.
So, I have Michigan win it all. You have
Duke. I'm flying on the Zion train, baby.
So to end off this podcast, let's talk about, is it bigger news if Duke wins the national championship, or is it bigger news if Duke loses the national, or doesn't the national championship?
I think it depends on where Duke loses. Because if it's early, then I think it'll be a really big deal. But I think if it's like the Final Four, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. But either way, if they lose, it's going to be a giant deal. Because they have Zion, RJ Barrett, Trey Jones. They have a very good lineup. And, of course, Coach K being the greatest coach of all time. So, yeah, it's going to be very disappointing if they lose.
I would argue it's bigger if they lose anyway.
Yeah.
Because Duke is such a big-name team. They have the best coach in college basketball for sure. And then they also have what we haven't seen, and probably the Fab Five in a super team of a college basketball team.
Yeah.
So if they win out, clearly win here, I think it'll go to in college basketball, you'll start seeing these recruits, top level recruits, go to the same colleges.
Yeah.
But if they lose, I think you'll still see it spread out.
I hope it stays spread out. I like it better like that.
And that I just don't think Duke can win. I don't think that can win in college basketball. I don't think a super team can win in college.
We've seen Duke do it with Zion on the court, winning the last big tournament.
Yeah, the big the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
They won the ACC tournament, and that's huge. They barely got past a couple of, but they haven't played everybody. That's the thing. You don't play teams from the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and your own conference conference.
Yeah.
So you don't. That's why I have Michigan State winning. They haven't seen Michigan State this year, so it'll be two new teams playing, two great coaches going at it with their schemes, and I think Michigan State just plays better basketball, plays more of today's style of basketball than Duke does. Duke does not play today's style of basketball. They don't shoot threes as much. They focus on getting points inside the paint because they have Zion.
But they have RJ Barrett, who's a top 3, probably NBA draft player right there, who has the ability to shoot threes.
He has the ability to shoot threes, but doesn't one guy won't make you play spread out too much in terms of.
I mean, they're probably basketball. But with Zion on the court, you always have to have I just think they have such a diverse team and such a good team that nobody will be able to stop them.
That's the problem. I don't think you have to guard the 3-point line. Recently, in the last couple of games, they have not been good at it.
Yeah.
So you let them take those threes, make sure you get the rebound. Admittedly, it's going to be hard getting a rebound versus Zion, especially in college. People don't have the same size as Zion.
No.
Zion fights hard for those rebounds too. He's willing to fight hard for everything. Yeah. But you're not going to get every rebound. There are teams, almost every team has at least one player taller than Zion, heavier than Zion.
Heavier?
It's just,
I don't know about that.
Absolutely.
Zion's like 280.
250.
He's not 250. He's 275.
Way 275.
Yeah, bro. That's why everybody's like, he would be the second heaviest going into the NBA right now.
Yeah. But even with somebody of his size, you can still get rebounds. Like, it's not going to go to him every single time.
Yeah.
And also, you need to... it's hard to beat a team that can consistently hit a 3. So if you can consistently hit threes, Michigan State can consistently hit threes. So many teams in college basketball can consistently hit threes.
Yeah.
To the point where you don't need to go for the rebound. If you get those passes in, Michigan State, great moving the ball around. You get those open players, get the open lane. They play fundamental basketball well, and they play today's style of basketball better than Duke does not play fundamental as well fundamentally as Michigan State.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen much of Michigan State, so it's hard for me to have an opinion on them.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair.
So.
But anything else before we leave off today?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.